And welcome back to the Constitutionals Podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the premier podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. We got a co-host today. His name is Maverick the dog. The cat is on the bed. I'll give you a little bit of news on her. Episode 333. The cat is unfortunately, and I've already come to terms with this, she has a mass growing on her leg, and the mass has gotten too big for removal, and it's in an area that it's going to, essentially, she has to get her leg taken off, amputated. So that's what we're dealing with right now. She has licked her mass raw. It's bleeding. She's been, first of all, she's been rubbing her bloody leg. I'm so pissed off. She's been rubbing her bloody leg all over the stuff. At first, it was just over on the white couch. Laid down blankets. I'm like, bleed on here. And then eventually she moved to the closet where, unfortunately, she lays down on my shoes. Right now, she's currently on the bed. Guess what color sheets and comforter are on my bed right now? Yeah, white. So she's dealing with, she's laying on the bed now. She was in the closet for like 3 days, which was, that's what I was like, oh, are you okay? Very sad. But we'll be scheduling surgery soon. It's a matter of payment. And quite frankly, I don't have money for that. And I'm trying to get help from companies that say that they help. But these companies want your animal to be on the brink of death in order for them to help, which is so dumb. It's why help at all? You know, it's like I see this all the time. It's like people going to stop signs, but rolling past the stop sign and then stopping like meters after it and then pretending to look and then going. If you're going to roll forward, just go. Don't even stop. Just go. Speaking of just going, I know this is another tangent. I was coming back from the gym on Monday or Tuesday, and I'm sitting at a light down the street from my house, and so I'm sitting at the cross light, and the lights going the opposite direction are turning yellow. The ones that are going perpendicular. I see it's turning yellow because I'm just sitting there listening to whoever's on Sirius XM. I see a red toy it doesn't matter what it is. It might be a Ford Focus. I see a red Ford Focus blazing down the line, and the light has turned red, just calming down. And as I slowly pull my foot off the brake, and I go forward. And I'm watching them as I'm doing this, and they have a handicap sticker and blacked out windows, just tinted out windows, which means they don't need that handicap sticker. And they are fully about to run the light, and I pull forward, and then they slam on the brakes to a point where I see them jerk forward, and I turn, and I point, and I go no. And I go forward. I drive forward, and then they run the light anyway behind me. And I'm just going. And I just think, like, why do people? This is just a running thing I've been thinking about. People think they're so good, and when it comes time to actually do common sense right things, they do the opposite. And you could be like, oh, the person didn't. You can defend them all you want, but I think about that all the time. People who pretend to be virtuosos of something, of everything. Oh, I read self-help books, but then they treat people like shit. You know, just things like that. They post Bible quotes, but then they're talking behind someone's back. Come on, just be consistent. Me, on the other hand, I treat everybody horribly. I just finished an interview with I'll say it, quite possibly the biggest person I've interviewed in a very long time. And I always say stupid things in these interviews, but at the end, you might have noticed in episodes that in podcasts that I happen to record after I do interviews with celebrities, is that in the end, I always feel this secondhand this embarrassment of, what did I say? I hope I didn't embarrass myself. Oh, please. Please, I hope I didn't say anything stupid or mean. And I finished the interview and I just thought, that's it, like the first answer, I was like, she thinks I'm an asshole. But I was making a joke and I was laughing. You'll see the next full episodes next Thursday. You'll see this. Oh God. And we didn't even have time. I didn't have a lot of time. So I had to be me, like, distilled. Just all the way down. All right, let's talk about our first story. The Nintendo Switch 2. I know, I don't talk about video games a lot. The Nintendo Switch 2 has been announced. We knew this was coming. How often does Nintendo do direct sequels to their consoles? Let's look at this. NES, SNES, Wii U, Switch 2, 3DS, DS and 3DS. You don't really take the Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, I guess so, yeah. But Game Boy Advance, Game Boy SP is not, it's not the same thing. It's going to be $450. Games, this is insane, are going to be $80. $80. We just got to $70 games. We've been at $60 for about a decade or so. $50 was where we were during Xbox, PS2, GameCube, 40, 50. And then 360, PS3, that was like $50. And PS4, Xbox Series One, that was $60. I don't remember. The games in the 90s used to cost 90, like in games in the 90s. I mean, they used to cost so much money. They used to be 90, $100. And it seems like we're edging back towards those times. However, if you look at the PC side of things, and we'll talk about the Switch in a second. You already know what the Switch is. Switch 2 is. The PC side of things, I can go on Steam right now and get a game that came out 6 months ago, and it's $20 already, Or I can go to a gray site and legally buy a game that someone owns keys to, and they're just selling off a bunch of keys. A gray site is like a black market thing, but it's not illegal. It's technically legal. It's just people hoarding game keys and then selling them off. So if you wanted to get RoboCop, the new RoboCop game that came out a year ago, and you didn't want to pay full price for it, and then someone's got 100 keys and they're selling them for $20 or $30, they're still, the developer still got their money. They just didn't get all of the money. But I'm not a PC gamer. I'm a console gamer. And so the Switch 2 is $450 there's a new Mario Kart they announced with it. So if you don't want to spend $80 on the new Mario Kart, $80 digitally, $90 physical. Insane. If you don't want to get it separately, it's called Mario Kart World. Then what you can, and it's free roam. It's like Forza Horizon. There you go. If you buy the bundle, I believe it's just $500. It'll save you $30 on that game, which is insane. Speaking of which, I just got the Mario Kart 8 DLC like 2 or 3 months ago, and I still have not beaten all of the tracks. It's just kind of sad to do it alone. So Switch 2 is larger than the original Nintendo Switch. It's got new Joy-Cons that attach magnetically as opposed to the rail. I'm not kidding. I think within the first week I had my Switch, the left Joy-Con, the gray Joy-Con, my left Joy-Con clip for the railing on the Joy-Con itself, not on the Switch, broke. Like the little button broke. And so it's just been sliding out for the past 7 or 8 years, however long I've had that Switch. The screen it has, so the screen is bigger. It supports HDR. It's 1080p. It's no OLED. There's 120 frames per second, so there you go. It's 4K resolution when you dock it. I assume they'll do an OLED that can do OLED, 1440p at some point. But for now, we're only getting 1080 with HDR. It'll be the grainiest brightest HDR you've ever seen. Finally, it comes with 256 gigabytes of internal storage. If anything, I was texting with a friend that it has to be minimum 256. If anything, it needs to be 512 at this point. 512. My phone has 512, I believe. And even that is too little. Also, it's just like a lot of workout videos. And some Pokemon games. Some Pokemon ROMs on my phone. Let's see, I've got Coliseum, and for GameCube, I've got some other. Oh, I've got some DS games, some 3DS Pokemon games like X and Y. X and Y are the only Pokemon games I've never played. Naturally, I loaded them up on the Steam Deck, and I still haven't played them. Well, Citra's gone off of PC. I still have Citra on my Steam Deck. I'm getting off the point, but I still have it. I just don't. It's just hard to configure it. And also, X doesn't work. Only Y works. The original Switch micro SDs will not work. You have to get micro SD Express cards, which are now currently for sale. They have better audio on board on the Switch. Fine. Switch 2. There's also a built-in microphone that you can, when you dock the Switch itself and you are playing on the couch, it can still hear you. It's got far field microphones, I believe is what it's called. It has 2 USB-C ports, one at the top, one at the bottom. And let's see. There's a camera accessory, that you plug it in when it's docked. You plug it in to the Switch, and then it shows you while you're playing Mario Kart, whatever you want to do. Who cares? There's bigger internal buttons on the Joy-Con when you turn it to the side. Let's see. Joy-Con can be mice. There's some games like the new Metroid Prime 4 that use it. Civilization 7. There's a new Pro controller that is reasonably priced compared to the games. And there's some other accessories. Who cares? There's a new chat feature. So there's a new button that you can press for chat. And that's all the pertinent things about the Switch 2. The problem is I see a lot of complaints about prices for video games, and that is fair. $80 is way too much for these games. Yeah, what's also happening is a lot of games are getting updated. So along the same lines of what happened with PS4 and Xbox One games as we transition to this current generation of PS5 and Xbox Series X, is that some developers allow for free updates. Some have paid updates. If you have Last of Us 2, then you can pay $10 to get an upgrade to the current gen version. The same thing can be said about No. Horizon Zero Dawn. Whereas they completely remade Last of Us Part 1. You have to pay for certain developers. They force you to pay for different versions of different games. So there's a different version of Harry Potter, Hogwarts Legacy. You have an Xbox One version, the Xbox Series X version. Guess which one costs $5 more every time on sale? Oh, Hogwarts Legacy is $15. Let me go buy. No, it's $20. I'm not spending $20 on that game. I got to give J.K. Rowling $20. If I could torrent a game, I don't torrent games, but if I could torrent a game, it'd be that one. But those games cost entirely too much money. And if I end up buying a Switch 2 and it comes out in June, I would just get the bundle for Mario Kart. So at least the game is reasonably priced, and that's $500 for that thing. Also, people are complaining about the price for the Switch 2. I was thinking about this in the shower. It's $50 more than what it should be. I believe the Switch launched at $300 or $350. Switch 2, with the specs it has, I'm sure it's because of what the things that NVIDIA, because I believe they supply the graphic card, the things that NVIDIA has put into it. I expected it to be roughly $400, but $450 is asking a lot for a console, and I am truly against people using the Switch as a console where they watch, streaming apps and everything like that. And I understand Hulu's on there. I don't care. But I'm saying for something that's $450 and it does one thing. You can't go on the internet. You can't use a streaming app. I mean, except for Hulu and maybe some other ones. But it should be more open than what it is for $450. Because right now I can go on the Steam Deck and use it as a low-powered computer. I can plug my phone. I mean, my phone has Samsung DeX, but I can still use this thing to do a lot of other things. The iPad, the same thing. On the Xbox, I can use Microsoft Edge. On the Xbox, I can use Netflix and Hulu and all this other stuff. On the PS5 rather, I can do the same exact thing. But on the Switch, we're so hamstrung by there's constraints that Nintendo don't allow for certain things, and I think it's better if I'm thinking, should I have released that interview today? No, it should be next week. It should be next week. Yeah. I mean, look, I've already recorded the episode. Well, I just switched the intro for the it's a 15-minute intro for this 7-minute interview. I'm excited for the Switch 2. I just hope that Nintendo allows it to flourish in the same way that the Switch has flourished. But now that you are caught up, they've always been a couple of steps, not even a couple. They've been steps behind when it comes to the other consoles. And I know that they're really in their own category. However, in the same way that I think that SiriusXM is a great supplement to any other streaming service, any other musical streaming service. SiriusXM is, if you have Apple Music, I would also have SiriusXM. If you have Spotify, I would also, YouTube Music, also have SiriusXM. A lot of people utilize the Switch as their other console. Oh, I have a PC, I have a Switch. I don't need anything else. I can subscribe to Game Pass or go to PlayStation Plus on my PC and play those games there. I have a PS4 and a Switch. I have an Xbox Series X and a Switch. Why do I keep saying PS4? I have a PS5. I sold my PS4. Now, the Switch 2, after all of these handheld PC consoles have come out, after these Steam Decks, after the Lenovo Legion Go's, after the MSI Claws, and even those have had updates, the One Players, all that stuff. Now, the Switch is finally on par with what the Lenovo Legion Go can offer, even though that runs Windows. But they both have mouse modes. Isn't that crazy? How many games are really going to use the mouse mode? In the same way that not many games use the Wii U gamepad. Not a lot of games use the original Nintendo Switch's motion capabilities. But I'm excited that the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Fallen Kingdom are going to get 4K upgrades, and that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, those are paid, and then Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is going to get a free upgrade, and maybe it'll run better on Switch 2 than it did on Switch 1. That being said, I didn't have any major problems with Scarlet and Violet. I know a lot of people did. It ran for me. I'll tell you this much. I'm playing Atomfall right now on Xbox, and it has crashed on me 3 times in the past week. It's been out for a week, and it's the quick resume does not work when you put the Xbox to sleep. I've had to reload a lot of saves, and it's kind of. I'll move on to that. I'll stop talking about Switch right now. Switch, I'm looking forward to it. Atomfall is, and I'll get off of video games in a second. I'll go back to entertainment business news, but it is entertainment business news. Atomfall is a survival action survival game. It's RPG light. I'll tell you this: my very first video game with guns was Resident Evil 4. It was on GameCube, and it scared the living daylights out of me. When I got an Xbox 360, first of all, when I got Xbox 360, I'm not kidding, I had no games for it. All I played was there was like a Bejeweled style game on there, and so I played that for a very long time. And then finally, I got 2 Xbox games. Oh, 3, and then I got one. And I played. I subscribed to Xbox Magazine, I believe, or Game Informer, and they sent a demo disc for Xbox 360. So I played the Cameo demo a lot, and then eventually I got Cameo the game. I was just watching the review for Cameo a couple weeks ago, and God, I was watching the X-Play review. What a different time! What a different time for video games! Like truly, man. Oh my gosh. And then today I'm complaining. I'm like, Atomfall's okay. Atomfall's like leagues better than Cameo. But I played Halo. That was my next game with guns on Xbox 360. Halo 1. And that I was so afraid of turning every corner because I equated, shooting games with Resident Evil 4. And if you don't know Halo, there's a level called the library, I believe, and Master Chief has to go into this library on a Halo ring, and it's full of Flood, which are these alien parasites, and that scared the crap out of me. So I'm not kidding. Every game with guns, I'm a little scared of, just a tiny bit scared of. I've worked past it for the past 15 years. I'm not doing a bit. I am sincerely just a little bit afraid when I play a game with guns. I just beat Call of Duty 6 and or Black Ops 6, is that what it's called? And there were moments I was like just a little jumpy. All right, let's move on. This comes from Deadline, coming from Nelly Andriva. Fox has renewed The Simpsons, Family Guy, Bob's Burgers. They've brought in American Dad from TBS. Each one of these shows is getting 4 brand new seasons. I have never been happier to hear. I love The Simpsons. I watch it every single day. Family Guy is great. Bob's Burgers is great. And American Dad is probably my second favorite animated show of all time. I love these shows. I'm so glad they all are getting 4 seasons. That will bring Family Guy, I believe, to 27. I tried to do this math yesterday. It takes them through 2029. It brings The Simpsons to 40 years, 40 freaking years. That's amazing. I think it takes American Dad to like 26 or something like that. Family Guy is 20. Like it's, oh my gosh. Unfortunately, 15 episodes per season, which stinks. However, this current television season, both Family Guy and The Simpsons got streaming only specials. For Family Guy, theirs were on Hulu, and I believe it was 2 episodes. And for The Simpsons, it was on Disney Plus, and it was a total of 3, but 1 2-parter. So technically, they are getting 20 and 22 episodes a season, but they only are airing 16 or 18, something along those lines. Usually they get 22 episodes. Currently, I believe Family Guy only airs 20, but 15 episodes is still considered a full broadcast season. It's going to give Fox the ability to bring in their other animated shows that they own, like Grimmsburg and Crapopolis, and the show that I will never see more than 2 seconds of, Universal Basic Guys, as well as Great North, but Great North has not been renewed. Grimmsburg has already been renewed for a 3rd season, and I believe Crapopolis, it got a 2 or 3 season renewal. When it was picked up, it got 2 seasons automatically. I don't know if it's getting 2 more seasons or 1 more season so far. The thing is, the reason why Fox is so bullish on renewing shows in long term right now is that they own the shows. They've already gotten rid of all the shows that they don't own. And by own, I mean shows that they produce in-house. That's why they canceled the 911 Lone Star. That's why they allowed 911 to be sold off to ABC. They own Crapopolis. They own Grimmsburg. However, 20th Animation owns The Simpsons and Family Guy, and I can only assume Bob's Burgers. Balancing out the shorter seasons is the fact that the per episode license fee for the 3 returning Fox shows, a Fox series, is staying the same, which is Bob's Burgers, Family Guy, and The Simpsons. That is not very common for long-running shows that get more expensive with time, as networks regularly push for fee reductions. Again, The Simpsons and Family Guy will get holiday specials on the streaming platforms to supplement their episodic orders by Fox. So they'll get 15 guaranteed episodes on Fox, where Hulu will get Family Guy's, Christmas and Thanksgiving episodes. And Disney Plus will get The Simpsons Christmas and Thanksgiving episodes. The delay in announcing the 4-series pickup, which was agreed upon in principle late last year, which is like a handshake agreement, stems from a large part from the need for 20th TV animation to make deals with cast and producers on each show. Cartoons take a long time to make. I've said this before. When I was at Cartoon Network, we typically knew before a show even premiered if it was getting a 2nd season. That's why when a show like Crapopolis is picked up for 2 seasons, you hear it ahead of time. Or you hear about Phineas and Ferb, the revival on Disney, getting picked up for 4 seasons. That's 40 episodes guaranteed. In the same way that, there's a popular show like Invincible, season 1. They know for a fact they're probably going to come back in with season 2. So Amazon will renew the show internally well before season 1 is even completed. It doesn't happen for every single show, but it happens for things that these networks and the streamers are very confident about. And more often than not, that's why Universal Basic Guys. That's why, what's Emily Spivey's show called? Emily Spivey, the show that was canceled. Bless the Hearts. That's why that show was able to get 2 seasons. There's a lot of reasons why the show was able to get 2 seasons, but that's one of the reasons why. Because animation takes so long to make. So it's not like the Connors. The Connors, they were renewed for their final season last year, and now they're airing it. They didn't know it was going to be a final season. They could have been picked up for 2 more seasons. They could have been picked up for 3 more seasons. But you can go season by season for a live action show because you're just shooting it. Whereas for animation, those poor animators drawing everything every week. It just looks out work. Just kidding. Also, the South Park trailer, the new season for South Park is airing in the summer. They have a trailer for it already. I feel like this is too soon to be animating a season of South Park to air in the summer. And yes, they can make an episode in a week. No, I'm talking about they should be making episodes. They should have started now so it could be more current. I always expect South Park to be current. But they're going to be current no matter what. Anyway. So the process for making deals with the cast and producers of each show were a little halted by the LA wildfires. The last outstanding packs with actors on The Simpsons are now being finalized, and the cast and showrunners on all 4 shows are set to return for the 4 additional seasons. Another reason why these shows are being picked up, particularly Family Guy and Bob's Burgers, is because they are 2 of the top 10 most streamed shows in the United States. They have 42.44 billion streams for Family Guy and 36.79 billion, minutes. And then 36.79 billion minutes for Bob's Burgers. Those are huge, huge numbers. I'm sure combined with The Simpsons on Disney Plus, combined with the Hulu version, with also the whatever's airing on FXX right now, those are also just insane numbers as well. For almost a decade, Family Guy has been Fox's most streamed program, averaging 9.4 million viewers a season. So these shows are doing well on streaming. Even if I watch The Simpsons and Family Guy and Bob's Burgers on Sundays, even if the initial ratings are like 2, 3, 5 million, just still nothing to balk at in today's day and age. That's big numbers. And again, American Dad is a giant show. It was on TBS for 11 years. It was on Fox for like 7 years before that. So it makes sense that these shows are coming through. So Bob's Burgers will go to 19 seasons. Family Guy will be 27 seasons. The Simpsons will be 40. American Dad will be 23. I hope this doesn't affect the just the darkness of American Dad. Oh my God, that has been such a show that's been changing the game for the past couple of years. And the Simpsons have gotten really good. They've gone back to the roots of just excellent storytelling. Actually, I would say they're doing better storytelling than the original show was. Not the original. The first half of the series was. And Family Guy is always going to be Family Guy. All right, let's move on to the next one. This comes from the New York Times, written by Nicole Sperling. Amazon's new movie strategy starts with theaters. The streaming giant is planning to release at least 14 movies a year in theaters around the country, rivaling other major studios. As these other major studios are pulling back from putting movies in theaters, we've got Amazon, MGM Studios, going out and really doing it big for themselves. Amazon does own a theater in Los Angeles. Keep that in mind. But they're also spending so much money, millions and millions of dollars, for big movies starring people like Chris Hemsworth and Ben Affleck and Ryan Gosling. 14 movies a year. That's a lot of movies. 7 in the first half of the year, 7 in the last half. I'm just putting up numbers. Movies like Air, starring Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, had a 37-day exclusive theatrical release. I think that's where I saw it. Red One, I did watch at home. I bought ticket for Air. I watched Red One at home. But Red One also hit Prime after it was in the theaters just after a couple of weeks. Jennifer Salk, who just currently left Amazon after they bought in other people for James Bond, like Amy Pascal, is gone. She's gone. And now they're trying to remake themselves. Amazon is. And it's day and age of streaming. Box office sales are down 11% from over a year ago, and they're still not getting higher. And I talk about this all the time, but we have to. I think I talked about this like 2 weeks ago. We had the people like Adam Aron, who is the CEO of AMC Entertainment. They have to figure out ways to get butts in seats. We like butts in seats. That's a reference to the commercial, like we make holes in teeth. Now, the first order of business that's coming from Courtney Valenti, who's Amazon MGM's head of film, is who they joined in. Valenti joined in 2023, Amazon in 2023, from Warner Brothers. Her job is to basically make a slate that any studio, I'm reading these words, could rival, any legacy studio. Amazon's got to find its own Barbie, its own Fury Road, its Elvis, Happy Feet. If you'll remember, several years ago, Jeff Bezos said, who was it? Was it Jeff Bezos? Jeff Bezos said that they wanted their Game of Thrones. They want their big tent poles that people will have to flock to Prime to see. In addition to the 14 to 16 films that Amazon now expects to release in theaters each year, another dozen will be produced directly for Prime Video. Imagine if Netflix actually, instead of just doing the Oscar movies in the Oscar season, award season, imagine if Netflix was doing this all year long, and then they took movies like Happy Gilmore 2 and put them in theaters. Amazon's really betting big. But they have to find their tent poles so that people will go to the theaters for them. Their IP. We'll see if it works for them, and we'll see what movies they have. And and I only say this because I care. Movies like Ricky Stenicki and Jackpot, they were great to watch at home because the stakes weren't high. On day one, I watched those movies on day one. I wanted to be a part of those numbers. I want to be a part. I wanted to be in the Nielsen family so god dang bad. Oh my God. I know I think I've told the story before, but I think 2 years ago they mailed me something and I was this close to being in the Nielsen household. Oh, you better believe I'd be doing my reports. But I didn't make it. Anyway, Ricky Stenicki and Jackpot, those are great movies to watch, but they need to go, if anything, bigger, and they need to trust themselves more. And when it comes to it, there's something that Netflix does that theater owners don't necessarily agree with, and festivals don't necessarily agree with. But I think it could work for companies like Amazon that want to continually do things. Now, they don't have to put movies out in thousands of theaters. I mean, they should. Yes, please do it. Allow people to see anything anywhere. But they could also just do the bare minimum. And if they only need 700 theaters across the United States in order to qualify for whatever awards thing they want, or to count it as nationwide, then do it. But again, please put out more. All right, let's move on. This comes from Deadline. Jake Cantor. Who did I say that other one was from? New York Times, Nicole Sperling. Okay, sorry. I don't remember if I said anything. Jake Cantor writes, YouTube turns off ad revenue for fake movie trailer channels after Deadline investigation. There are several AI movie channels out there that include KH Studio and Screen Culture, and they are so frustrating. It is so frustrating to see a trailer. I'll pick a movie out of the ether. There's a new Superman, Supergirl, all that stuff. But to be on YouTube scrolling through the videos and to see like Superman versus Lobo, the movie coming out. Lobo's in the new Superman. He's not. Lobo's in Supergirl. And to see that it's a fake, like it looks like a really, really real believable trailer. And then it's fake. So, KH Studios is one of the biggest ones, and they were getting millions of views on their trailers. Deadline performed an investigation called Jake Cantor at Deadline performed an investigation called Inside YouTube's Weird World of Fake Movie Trailers and How Studios Are Secretly Cashing In on the AI-Fueled Videos. Again, in the same way, the fake Superman trailer with Lobo, I'm just making up a one, but both KH Studios and Warner Brothers could get money because Warner Brothers owns the property to that. In the same way that IGN can upload a trailer for Megan 2.0, and the company that produces Blumhouse could get money from that, and IGN gets a part of that. Deadline analyzed how screen culture is creating trailers that closely imitate official marketing material for franchises like the Fantastic Four First Steps and Superman, but splices in AI imagery to tease irresistible details about a movie that appealed to their giant fandoms. KH Studio, meanwhile, imagines outlandish versions of major films and series, including James Bond movie starring Henry Cavill and Margot Robbie, and a Squid Game season with Leonardo DiCaprio. So they were doing two different things, but ultimately going for the same goal, just making it all fake. And in the same way, I'm not saying that Warner Brothers and all these other companies are a part of KH Studios and screen culture. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that they just happen to be getting money because they own the copyright. Our deep dive revealed that instead of protecting copyright on these videos, a handful of Hollywood studios, including Warner Brothers Discovery and Sony, are secretly asking YouTube to ensure that the ad revenue from the AI-heavy videos flows in their direction. The studios declined to comment. Now YouTube has suspended Screen Culture and KH Studio from its partner program for violating monetization policies, meaning they can't earn ad revenue from the videos they produce. They can appeal YouTube's decision. YouTube's monetization policies say that if you're borrowing it, you need to change it significantly, like the art, material, whatever. Change it. You have to change it. That's why you can't play music during a copywritten music during a video or whatever. Furthermore, YouTube misinformation policies prohibit content that has been technically manipulated or doctored in a way to mislead viewers. This is a great step. They need to demolish this stuff. But the idea that Warner and Sony are making money off of this secretly, as opposed to what I originally said was that they're I was wrong. They're doing it on purpose. Do it out in the open if you want to make money. Okay, that's one story. Do I want to go with this last one? Nah, I'm not going to do it. And you don't know what story I'm going to do. I was supposed to do. But I talked so much about the Switch 2. Then I ruined it. Okay. Listen. If you like what you heard here, head to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where it's down right now. But, you can do all this stuff. Go to youtube.com/cpluscomedy if you want to see a video version of the show, as well as a video version of the other podcast, Late Night Lately, the Late Night Show, and LinkedIn Logs, the Jobs podcast. Subscribe to those shows wherever you get your podcasts. You can watch me talk to famous people. I just talked to Ryan Hudson and Julia Duffy. So check out that interview wherever you get your podcasts on the Constitutionals. There's no video version, but you can watch video versions of the other interviews on youtube.com/cpluscomedy. Follow us on social media, TikTok, Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, cpluscomedy, me, @Chad Blackwhite. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.